Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me today because we have some very exciting General Hospital news to talk about, and it's definitely worth the wait. I tell you what folks, I've been hooked on General Hospital for more years than I care to count, and right now this storyline with Ethan Lovett and little Phoebe has me sitting on the edge of my recliner every single afternoon. You know, I've watched that boy Ethan grow up on screen, and lately he's got this real tender look in his eyes whenever Phoebe's around. The show's dropping hints left and right that she just might be his own flesh and blood. He's real close to her, protective like a daddy should be, but something's holding him back from saying it out loud. I reckon he's scared, and I get it. Life's complicated enough without dropping a bomb like that on everybody. What really got my blood boiling, though, is when he snatched that baby away from Chase and Brooklyn. Now, don't get me wrong, I like Chase. He's a good, steady man, but watching Brooklyn's heartbreak like that just tore me up. Why on earth would Ethan do something so cold? He didn't even plan on raising Phoebe himself. Instead, he handed her over to Christina. I'm still scratching my head trying to figure out what in the world his real motive is. It just doesn't sit right with me. At the same time, I can see how much Ethan truly cares. He knew Delilah Wilson, poor thing, and I saw him break down and cry because he couldn't save her before she passed. That moment showed me the heart he's got. And the other day, he straight up asked Christina if she thought Phoebe would really be happy growing up with Chase and Brooklyn. That question right there tells me Ethan's biggest wish is for that little girl to have the best life possible. He's putting her happiness above everything else, even if it means making some painful choices. I keep wondering if the writers are going to throw us one of those classic General Hospital twists. Maybe Ethan isn't the real dad after all, or maybe everything is exactly what it looks like. Either way, I know one thing for sure. When the truth finally comes out, it's going to be a storm nobody in Port Charles is ready for. And I'll be right here, coffee in hand, watching every minute of it. I got to tell you, the deeper this General Hospital story goes, the more it tugs at my old heartstrings. Brooklyn and Chase look like the perfect couple on the outside, ready to build a beautiful home for little Phoebe, but underneath it all, trouble's brewing like a summer storm over Port Charles. First off, Brooklyn's carrying a secret that's eating her up inside. She's been drinking again, something she swore she'd left behind. One night she got behind the wheel after a few too many, and she nearly crashed right into Jordan Ashford. Lord, can you imagine the fear in that moment? Instead of doing the right thing and staying to help, she panicked and drove away from the scene. I keep thinking about how heavy that guilt must feel on her shoulders every single day. She's trying so hard to prove she's ready to be a mother, but if this comes out and in soap operas, secrets like this always do, it could destroy her chances with Phoebe and break Chase's trust completely. It just makes me sad, you know? She's got a good heart, but these mistakes are piling up. Then there's Chase. I've always rooted for that boy. He's a solid cop, honest as the day is long, and he loves Brooklyn something fierce. But lately I've noticed the way he looks at Willow. There's a closeness growing there that feels dangerous, like two lonely hearts finding comfort in each other when they shouldn't. If Elaine starts poking around and actually finds proof of something going on between them, well, that could be the end of Chase and Brooklyn's fairy tale. I sure hope it doesn't come to that. I hate seeing good people mess up when they're already fighting so hard for a child. Even if the two of them somehow manage to keep all these scandals quiet and stay together, Ethan Lovett is still standing there like a quiet storm cloud. That man has been dropping hints left and right that Phoebe might be his own flesh and blood. If he decides to step forward, get a DNA test, and claim her as his daughter, everything changes in a heartbeat. He'd have every legal right to say who raises that little girl. I've watched him closely these past weeks, and I can see how protective he is. He's not doing this to be mean or spiteful. He genuinely wants what's best for Phoebe, even if it means standing in the way of Brooklyn and Chase's dreams. What really keeps me up at night wondering is this possibility. What if Ethan decides that Christina is the one who should raise Phoebe? What if he sits down with her and actually encourages her to take the baby and build a life together? Oh man, that would be a gut punch like no other. Brooklyn's heart would shatter into a million pieces after all the love she's poured into that child. Chase would be left standing there wondering how their happy future slipped away so fast. And poor Christina, she's been through so much already. Raising Phoebe might give her a new purpose, but it would also stir up a whole new pot of family drama in the Corinthos clan. I tell ya, these writers know exactly how to keep an old fella like me glued to the screen. One minute I'm angry at Ethan for interfering, the next I'm nodding my head because I understand why he's fighting so hard. He lost Delilah, he couldn't save her, and now he's pouring all that love and regret into making sure Phoebe gets the safest, happiest life possible. It's messy, it's painful, and it feels so real. That's why I keep coming back every day, because even when these characters make mistakes, you can't help but care about what happens to them. I just hope when the truth finally explodes, there's some kindness left in the wreckage. These folks have already been through enough heartache, but knowing General Hospital, the ride's only going to get bumpier from here. And I'll be right here in my favorite chair, coffee in hand, watching every single minute of it. I got to tell you, that episode on May 13 really stuck with me all day. I was sitting there in my favorite chair, and the scene that got me the most was Christina holding little Phoebe so tenderly. She had that baby wrapped in her arms, rocking her gently, kissing the top of her head, and looking down at her with so much love, it made my eyes a little misty. Ethan was standing just a few steps away, watching the two of them real quiet, like he was seeing something he'd been hoping for. The look on his face said it all. There was warmth there, but also a lot of heavy thinking going on behind those eyes. Later on, when Ethan heard the full story about Christina losing her own precious little daughter, my heart just ached right along with them. He spoke to her with such genuine sympathy, saying he understood that losing a child is one of the hardest, most painful things any person on this earth could ever go through. You could tell he wasn't just saying empty words. He really felt for her. I've seen enough of life to know he's right. That kind of loss leaves a hole in your heart that nothing else quite fills. Watching him comfort Christina made me respect the man even more. He's been through his own share of pain, especially after losing Delilah, so he knows what real heartbreak feels like. The way things are heading, I'm starting to think Ethan might want to raise Phoebe together with Christina. Wouldn't that be something? Maybe the writers will shake things up again with her love life and give them a romantic second chance. Or maybe it's not about romance at all. Maybe Ethan simply sees how empty Christina's heart has been since she lost her baby, and he wants to help her heal by giving her the chance to be a mother again. Either way, you can feel he's seriously considering her. He trusts her. He sees how naturally she loves that little girl, and it seems to be giving him peace. I can already picture him pulling her aside one of these days, looking her straight in the eye and telling her she's the one he believes in most to raise Phoebe. He might even come right out and ask if she wants that opportunity to be a mom again. Lord, can you imagine the mix of joy and fear that would wash over Christina's face? After everything she's suffered, getting another real chance at motherhood could bring light back into her life. It would be beautiful, but it would also stir up a whole new storm in Port Charles. The Corinthos family drama alone would keep us talking for months. Of course, none of this erases how much Brooklyn and Chase are hurting right now. But Phoebe's future still feels wide open and full of uncertainty. The second Ethan decides to step forward and reveal he's her biological father, especially if he backs it up with a DNA test, everything's going to change in a heartbeat. He'll have the right to decide who raises that child, and right now it looks like his heart is leaning toward Christina. I don't know how this whole thing is going to land, but I'm glued to the screen every single day. These stories may be messy and full of heartbreak, but they feel so real. They remind me that life is complicated, people make mistakes, and sometimes the best thing you can do is try to protect a child and give them the love they deserve. My old heart is rooting for little Phoebe to end up in a safe, happy home, no matter who that ends up being with. General Hospital has me hooked once again, and I wouldn't miss tomorrow's episode for anything. I'll be right here, coffee in hand, watching to see how this all unfolds. These characters have become like old friends over the years, and I care about what happens to every single one of them.